Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
This is by far one of the most important speeches that Gary Gensler has ever made. I'm talking about XRP holders in the Ripple v SEC lawsuit, but I'm also talking about crypto holders in general in the crypto holders versus SEC battle. Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News, where I am struggling so much with this MacBook Pro, as it's not letting me do these face cams without lagging out, and so I have to get a new one, but then I have to go to the store. So yeah. So today I have a couple of fun things to actually share with you, and I want to first of all relate this speech back. So why did I showcase this, and why is it so important? Well, there's a couple of points and remarks that he makes on here. One is directed at crypto exchanges, one is directed kind of in a hinty way against XRP/Ripple, and one makes absolutely no sense. But to sum it all up, he is now explaining how you should come up to them. And if you're doing the fundraising and doing a lot of stuff for the crypto project itself, then it might be a security. So where it becomes difficult is when I look at all these guys over on Twitter, like specifically the Digital Asset Investor, sharing everything about Ethereum and just going on and on and on about why Ethereum kind of falls under the securities law, following their own rules as well. Yet the SEC seems to ignore that. It's such a strange situation, and the more I dive into it, the more strange it gets. So I want to show you guys a couple of different tweets here. I think you get a good understanding as we go through them. And if it's a little bit laggy, guys, just know that next video it'll get better. And I'm honestly not sure how to combat it. It's just this last 2 hours my laptop has not been, it's just been awful, so I'm not exactly sure. Maybe what I should do is every time I talked about something, I should close it, as I have like 1,000 tabs open. That might of course cost something. So Gary Gensler, I think, went on a talk show with Jim Cramer, and Jim Cramer is known to be a little bit of a shady businessman in some areas. So while we covered the Ethereum free pass, well, nobody in the mainstream financial media will, and they call us conspiracy theorists. Gary Gensler goes on this man's show because he is considered legit and honest. And then there's a little video tagged here where you can basically see that he is literally lying to the other guy, but he has the information, and so he gets exposed, which is rather funny. So it's kind of funny that, again, Gary Gensler, goes on the show because it's such a good show or somebody's a liar. Now, we can see that through the fingers. We're like, okay, you know what? Can all make a mistake. So then there's this video of Gary Gensler and what he's been doing recently. When I'm telling you that this man is on a war path against everything, basically. Man, I'm not joking. In the first video, we talked about how they don't necessarily want to go through enforcement, but they'd rather just you come to us. Ripple tried that, it didn't work, but for a lot of other entities the exact same thing applies, where they really want to get somewhere and they don't think they're doing something wrong, yet Gary Gensler finds a way to find a problem and not do it for investor protection, but do it for some reason that nobody seems to understand. And that's, I think, the most critical problem. nobody really understands exactly what his purpose or goal is. And again, guys, these videos are not financial advice, not legal advice, and in no way, shape, or form am I trying to say that he's a fraudster or a bad individual. All I know is that what he's doing does not add up. So what he's saying, right, wanting to help the people so much versus what he is doing, and the majority of people I speak to don't see those two things line up. But he keeps on going on. So there's either something which we're all missing here, or. So in this little video, he's basically talking about how he wants to get rid of PFOF actually, in some degree. Now things are loading again because we had some little trouble. So that is the payment for order flow. I actually recommend you guys all to watch this video right here, as from a certain perspective he's making a good point, but literally look at this. Found the video of Gary Gensler saying 90 to 95% of trading is going through dark exchanges, wholesale. And it's not actually a proper business. It's scams and it's banned, and yeah, they should ban it more. Okay, interesting. That should be our priority. Yes, everything, a lot of the stuff is working fine. He wants to look for problems. Maybe he's like, come to us. When we come for real issues, they're like, oh, we can't help you. We don't know. But when there's like a no issue, they're like, oh, we need to fix this right now. Like, what? So John Deaton, XRP itself is security per se. Although designated amicus counsel, I have not yet been privy to the non-publicly disclosed or sealed documents that have been exchanged between the parties or filed within the court. So as far as I know, I should maybe sit differently. Sit a little bit more like this. I don't know, maybe like this. I like my camera is my phone, so it's like the phone is there, second monitor is here, main monitor is there. So I kind of gotta usually look at the main monitor. Should I look at my second monitor? Should I look at the camera? I'm trying some stuff out, guys. Now, what this is all about is John Deaton, of course, entered the lawsuit, the Ripple versus SEC, as a friend of the court. What this part is all about is he's basically saying, hey, even though I am a friend of the court and I'm supposed to be able to help her out and get a little bit of inside info, I haven't gotten it yet. But it's, I think, just a quick little reply, the top part, of course, because John always goes for these long threads. A little reply to what we saw earlier, like, for example, the 3 different documents that got publicized yesterday by the court, which we covered already. It wasn't really too crazy or spectacular. Now, Digital Asset Investor is retweeting Jeremy Hogan here, who is a lawyer, not a lawyer for the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. He is just a lawyer that knows stuff. So here it says, Part 1 is attorney Jeremy analysis of Chris Larson's email response to an XRP investor. We covered that, was pretty fun. Part 2 is Vitalik Buterin on why you should invest in ETH. Gary Gensler is suing Ripple but allowing the Ethereum founders to openly plan and develop ETH 2.0, their second security offering. So how this relates back and why this is so crucial and critical, guys. Well, what Digital Asset Investor has done here beautifully as well is think about this one properly. There was an email, which is Chris Larson and a fan or investor going back and forth, where Chris Larson basically explains a lot of the cool parts about XRP and why people really should be excited about it. So most likely the SEC sees that as an opportunity to be like, hey, you encouraged investors to buy, and you had sort of a contact, so there's like a contract because they're buying it because of you. But again, we relate it back to ETH and say, well, if that's the case, then when we look at all those Ethereum documents, doesn't it make a lot of sense then if Ether is going for ETH 2.0 and they're literally encouraging people in every way, shape, or form, and we look back at the securities offering, the token offering that they've done before, terminology, doesn't make sense for that to be completely excluded. Or at least, guys, don't get me wrong, I find it fine that ETH and XRP are non-securities, but what I don't find fine is that there's not a single rulebook or a line. Right now, as I said before, Gary Gensler has come to us, but Ripple tried. I think a lot of others have tried. People are trying to ask questions, but they don't give the proper answers. Like, one crucial question would be, okay, in this lawsuit, why don't you give all your documents open and out there? A couple of guys over on Twitter have been sharing, like, look at this, alright, look at this. A couple of guys like Tiger have been sharing, I know what it says, but let's quickly wait for the tweet to load. Oh, man. Okay, you know what, if I have time tomorrow, I'm gonna pick up a new laptop tomorrow if it's there. If it's in the Apple Store, guys, I'm picking up a new laptop tomorrow. If they don't have it, then I'm just going to order it tomorrow. But I think it takes like 6 weeks or so, 4 weeks here in Dubai to get it to my house. Which is why I was like, ooh, I'll wait. Because I don't know. I was a little bit of wishful thinking that if I just wait, then it would all of a sudden be earlier. It keeps saying encoding overloaded. Okay, I decided to quickly, hopefully, load these articles in so there would be a little bit less lag. If John Deaton was able to obtain Grundfesta's letter to Jay Clayton, which disclosed his concern that suing Ripple was a threat to national security, one of the worst things possible in my opinion, just imagine what is in the documents that they refuse to hand over. Alright, I'm just gonna try to see if this will work without the video for today, guys. Not exactly sure what's causing this to act so stupid, but hopefully it's gonna be fixed tomorrow. I'm gonna break my laptop otherwise, so okay. So the reason this is so important and so crucial is because this draws a little contrast to the fact that the SEC should go for an open policy. We don't know what they're hiding, but there's literally such crucial information within what they have for how crypto should be determined. And the most confusing part about everything is you want us to come to you, but when we come to you, you won't give anything. And then to add on top of that, when we do come to you, like Coinbase, for example, has done with their whole lend idea, you might actually come at us with full force, with a full subpoena and whatnot. If you guys don't remember, Coinbase went to them to ask a couple of questions, and they went in a full investigation. It was really bad. And Ripple tried it as well, kind of. And so forth and so on. It's not as if they are inviting you with open arms. Well, they are officially saying they are, but then in reality they're not. And then there's all such confusing evidence. Yet when Ripple quotes the fair notice defense saying, hey, you didn't warn us properly, like, well, we did, you should have known. But it's like, how does that make sense? So again, the fun contrast here, we described it just now, but it's about the fact that Gary Gensler is suing Ripple but allowing the ETH founders to openly plan and develop ETH 2.0, which basically is, I don't want to call it another security offering, but I want to call it, this is like a confirmation for a second part, which is that as it currently stands, there's almost no way, shape, or form to say that ETH was finalized in ETH 1. Because obviously they wanted to go to 2 from almost the get-go. Having said that, following Gary Gensler's own principles, if something's being worked on still by mostly one party, with the most important crucial factor being the one party, then it should be a security, specifically when they've done a token sale. So how does that then make sense? Once more, I am not trying to say that Ethereum is a security. I'm trying to say make it make sense by explaining exactly what the differences are and where the line lies. A lot of people are like, yeah, no, Ripple is the only one screwed up because it's all centralized pieces of garbage. Sure, say that, fine. But then base it upon exactly base it on the information that's being given by the SEC. You might say, yeah, well, but then they did the Howey test, of course, haha. But if you literally follow that line, first of all, XRP doesn't work. But second of all, then ETH is literally more of a security offering than XRP was. But again, that's a story for a different day. It's just so confusing, and I keep relating back to it thinking, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Now, as I said before, guys, you can really go down this rabbit hole for a long time. Like, for example, John Deaton. He's keen on sharing every single thing that he can think of, and as I said before, he can definitely spend hours a day going through more and more info, and I by no means want to keep you guys in that loop. We might cover this one a little bit later today if I feel like it, but just generally speaking, understand there's a really big contrast between what is said and what is done and what is presumed, so to speak. It just doesn't line up. It really doesn't line up. It's so confusing. It's so annoying. Now, here's another one, and this kind of asks the story as well. When the SEC, by the way, guys, if you're watching the video this far in, make sure you press that like button, and of course, also check out the socials. Check out the Twitter, TheDustTBC on there, and check out the Instagram, TheDustTBC on there as well. You're just seeing a beautiful gray screen right now because it's not loading in. And again, if oh my days, this is a first world problem if I ever had one. But again, it feels like, it's work, right? I at least I see it like that. I kind of don't, but it depends. So it's a little bit unprofessional that it just doesn't load. But I've tried for hours now. It just won't fix itself. This is the best I can do. Apologetic. That's all I can say. Instagram, Twitter, follow them. If you don't want to, don't do it. When the SEC claimed today's XRP is a security, I said Coinbase should file a motion to intervene or seek amicus status like I did. So again, Coinbase is, look at the video at the start of the video, right? Oh, the video at the start of the video. Yeah, that's what it is. And Gary Gensler says if you host an exchange, there's a very high likelihood that some of your crypto are securities. Coinbase should have stepped in, like a couple of others have done, and say, hey, we're not buying this, we're not following these rules, because what you're putting us into is every single time you make an allegation, we're just screwed. Remember, guys, Coinbase took it off now because then the SEC basically cannot eventually sue them for making money on a security, an unregulated one. The reason it doesn't make sense either is because this is just an allegation, and we've seen before in court, I've proven this a couple of times, guys, that in the Tetragon v. Ripple case, Tetragon is an investor in Ripple. They basically wanted to get out of this, of their investment into Ripple ASAP, but the judge wouldn't let them because as of this point, what was in the contract was that Tetragon could get basically a buyback if XRP turned out to be a security. So Ripple signed that. Ripple basically made the agreement. If XRP turns out to be a security, we'll buy back, which again shows how certain Ripple is that they're not gonna lose this one. And that specifically when in 2019 it happened, that they weren't aware they were being investigated for. Otherwise, why would you sign that? Having said that, the judge ruled in favor of Ripple, saying, as of this point, XRP is no more security now than before. And again, another one to add on top of that is the fact that XRP right now can still be sold by Ripple. And since the SEC didn't ask for basically an order that they should stop selling XRP immediately, that that also shows and proves to me that they don't agree and think that XRP is currently still a security. They just think it was a security at some point or another. Now, when the SEC claimed today's XRP is a security, I said Coinbase should file a motion to intervene or seek amicus status like I did. When Brian Armstrong tweeted the SEC would sue over lend, I advised relist XRP and seek amicus status. The best defense is an aggressive offense. And that's again because a little while ago, as I said earlier in this video, the SEC came after Coinbase too. Jay says, don't be surprised when you see Coinbase hit with a lawsuit from Gary Bear. The bigger the case, the more precedent it sets for the industry. Coinbase is not registered with the US SEC and does not offer securities in the United States or the US persons. You acknowledge that digital assets are not subject to protections or insurance provided by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or Securities Investor Protection Program or Corporation. John says, Coinbase had an opportunity to not just be the largest exchange in the US, but a true leader in the space, in the crypto space. You can't play nice with a government agency that wants to shut you down. What's amazing is that I guarantee security lawyers dismissed the idea of joining in the case. Yeah, most likely. Most likely. And again, it all comes back down to them being too scared to do so. But in reality, if Ripple loses this, or if this goes on, and we let the SEC go untamed, I think it will only get worse. Again, these are just my thoughts. I am not a legal advisor, not a financial advisor. We're just thinking here. We're adding one and one together and drawing some conclusions out of that I think are fair. Congress introduces a radical crypto bill to unleash innovation as the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum suddenly soar. One thing I gotta kind of slip in here as well, together with my last couple of sentences here, is the fact that a crypto bill will come. As it currently stands, it looks as if the crypto bill that's going to flow in will at first glance be quite negative, but will most likely be mitigated with the additional crypto bills that are filed per state in the US. The major crypto bills, however, look to be very negative and kind of sneakily put in because the major regulators don't care. However, we've noticed quite a significant amount of senators, for example, they're dabbling into crypto as well, and a couple of people, like Hester Peirce from the SEC, also commissioner, they do like it. I think if you really draw, if you were to actually really draw it out, how many people like crypto, I think it's mostly 70 plus of age, very small percent. But anything under that, the majority, I think, would actually say, yeah, there's some potential in that. There's almost no non-billionaire that is going to say, no, this is completely stupid, it's a complete scam. If they're younger, I would say. I talked to a couple, right? But they just don't know it. They just have no idea. I'm talking about a person who's looked into it and just looks at it and says, what do you think about it? You know, if you've actually understood it. I don't think I really hear that many. Some people just don't like it, but it's mostly because they don't like what they don't understand. That's what I hear most of the time. I don't hear that often. No, I understand it fully, but I just don't think it's going to work. Or I just think it's a really big scam or this or that. No, never really hear that. And I think a lot of these regulators are also fair in basically buying it themselves or going for themselves, or trying to get better rules in, because at the end of the day, you can try to halt it like we've seen in China or something like that. At the end of the day, it cannot work. So once more, the SEC sometimes takes different sides. Here, for example, it says they've invited comments on Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF. At the end of the day, what would they need the comments for? They know. And they're not stupid, guys. The SEC is not an organization that's been started yesterday. They know exactly what they need to hear, basically, for a Bitcoin ETF. They know exactly every single detail about it. They just are doing this commentating, even though whenever comments come in, I don't think they're even going to listen to them, because why would they? They understand it fully, everything they need to grasp. They're just waiting for some reason. Because at the end of the day, their concerns, which are, as they've said, there's a lot of scams going around, and there's this underlying threat for Tether. It's not all of a sudden going to go away by some comments tomorrow or anything like that. If there are two main underlying threats, which they have explained themselves for not going for a Bitcoin spot ETF, are those two, then why would you need comments for? What's going to change that? Then just be honest with us and explain exactly what you're debating about, or why there's like a room for the discussion right now. But then at the end of the day, we've seen 50,000, okay, let's say 10, 20 different Bitcoin spot ETF applications. I don't think they need comments anymore. They just need to make a decision, and they keep saying no. Just either say yes or on to the next one. Let people try again. Yet again, they know themselves they're going to approve it anyway. What are they waiting for exactly? Which is why this is so confusing. I just don't understand exactly why they're saying no. If they're rejecting some parts of the specific ETF, okay, well, fine. If the ETF itself needs to be more specific, okay. Then again, I'm also saying, if that's the case, then the ETF applier, in this case Grayscale, would have most likely changed it instantly because they just want to get this done. Once more, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If the SEC just comes up and explains exactly why it can or cannot work, I think people would not even accept it still, because they just think it's going to be there anyway. So why wait? But again, that's not really my battle. Last but not least, man, the market is in a really crazy spot. As I've shown you guys earlier, I am honestly in a little bit of a confused spot. Because in reality, short term, right, for Bitcoin on just the chart, it looks so splendid, so juicy. Nice little retest here on both sides, playing some little ping pong. But generally speaking, with the breakout and the confirmation we had, oh my days, does Bitcoin look nice. On a little bit of a longer term, which we showed as well, the daily, it did not get the confirmation for the breakout that we wanted. So again, longer term, it's not necessarily the big shift. Then again, on XRP, we did get the confirmation, and so again, we opened up a long position yesterday. If you're not in one, no worries, but I told you all the 666, whatever point for price was the best one to get into it, and we're long past that right now. Again, how long will that last? It's hard to say, because the S&P is still playing a critical factor. Bitcoin is right now ranging, and has been for the last day or so, and obviously we're waiting for one big pump or dump towards a certain direction. Let's quickly actually take a little bit of a look at Bybit here, because I did tell you guys that we were going to see a breakout towards either direction here, and I haven't loaded it up since. I haven't actually taken a look at it anymore. This video, by the way, is 22 minutes long. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you press that like button to help the channel out a little bit. And if you're wondering as well, sometimes you'll see a couple of trades on here, sometimes you'll see no trades. It's because I have more than one Bybit account. Why? Because, right? One is the one I usually show you. I have a lot of them, which you can also make sub accounts, by the way. The reason I do that is mostly because I want to showcase some stuff to you guys, and I'm keeping my own trades private. Why? Well, tell me how much money you have in your bank account. You wouldn't do that, right? So why would you show exactly how much money you're trading with? I don't like to do that either. Sometimes I show it, but most of the time I just like to be a little bit more careful with that stuff. Then again, I do like to sometimes show the trades, and mostly what I show here is stuff that I'm telling you guys about exactly, and nothing deeper of a strategy. For some reason, however, it's not loading, so let me take a quick second and I'll come back when it's loaded. Alright, so it is loaded, and as it currently stands, we have broken out to the upside for XRP. Again, another very bullish bias. I think it's also going to confirm on every single time frame that we wanted to confirm on. Things right now are looking really good. If we're talking about XRP on its own, things are looking really good, which again makes the whole situation quite confusing. As Bitcoin is not in the most bearish position it could be at, XRP kind of is. It might show that XRP is undervalued right now. Then again, I'm also being critical and logical when saying there's a small probability that XRP is going to pop off and do crazy when Bitcoin actually gets a drastic fall, which is why it's so strange and confusing. But Right now, I am biased towards going long on XRP, staying neutral on Bitcoin, and fun fact, guys, Binance sent out an email earlier today. You know what they said? They said exactly the strategy I described on the channel here. If you're watching this far, comment down below, yeah bro, I'm still watching. Comment, or yeah, I'm still watching. Comment that down below. You know what I told you guys? The reason I opened a short on Bitcoin is as a hedge. You know what Binance just put out to all their followers? I put this up a week ago. Is a lot of people put up shorts as a hedge. And sometimes it's a smart idea to put up a short as a hedge or something like that. I don't remember the exact email. They just sent that to my email like 5 hours ago.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.